I'll tell you right now, if you drive for a living at night, there are roads you respect, roads you avoid, and then there are roads you never speak about again. Mine was somewhere outside Pennsylvania, and I still check my mirrors when I say that. My name's Marcus. I'm 29, and for 6 years I worked night shift deliveries. Boxes, groceries, medicine, last-minute birthday gifts people forgot until 11 p.m. If it fit in the van, I probably brought it. Most people think night driving is peaceful. Sometimes it is. No traffic, cooler air, empty highways stretching out like black ribbons under the headlights. My younger brother, Devin, used a joke that I knew every back road in America better than GPS said if satellites ever failed. They'd call me before the government. I told him that was funny right up until he needed a ride somewhere. There are 3 things delivery drivers fear more than horror movies: loose dogs, third-floor apartments with no elevator, and customers who choose leave a door, then open it while you're setting the package down. Nothing prepares you for that eye contact. Still, I like the job. You see America differently at night. Gas stations glow like islands. Porch lights look lonely. Forests seem deeper after midnight, like they're leaning closer to listen. But one road I found outside Pennsylvania wasn't on any map, and I don't think it wanted to be. That night, rain was hitting the windshield so hard it sounded like handfuls of gravel. I was already 40 minutes behind schedule. Dispatch kept sending alerts, and I had one final package sliding around on the passenger seat like it was impatient too. The address was somewhere ahead, but my GPS started acting strange, rerouting every few seconds, spinning the map, then freezing completely. A second later, the signal bars vanished. I remember leaning forward, squinting through the wipers, when my headlights caught a wooden sign on the shoulder. Blackwood Pass, next right. I hit the brakes so hard the van fishtailed. I knew the highway. I'd driven in daylight, at dusk, in fog, in snow. There had never been a turn there. Never a sign. Just trees and guardrail. But now there was a narrow road opening beside me. Black asphalt bending into the woods like it had always belonged there. I laughed to calm myself and said out loud, either I found a shortcut or the forest started doing urban planning. Then I turned in. The trees closed around the van almost immediately. Branches hung low over the road, scraping the roof in slow, dragging strokes. No houses, no passing cars, no stars above me. Even the rain seemed to stop at the tree line. And after about a minute, I realized I couldn't hear my engine anymore. 10 minutes passed, then 15. That road should have connected somewhere, dead-ended somewhere, become gravel. Anything normal. Instead, the trees opened without warning, and I rolled into a town so small it looked forgotten on purpose. A diner with chairs still inside, traffic lights hanging dark over an empty intersection, a gas station with pumps standing silent like gravestones, and parked along both sides of the street delivery vans. My company's logo on every single one. Some looked new enough to run. Others were rusted through, windows cracked, doors hanging open like mouths. I slowed to a crawl, staring at license plates from Texas, Nevada, Maine, states hundreds of miles apart. I stepped out with a flashlight and the package scanner in my hand like that would help. One van was packed floor to ceiling with boxes. Unopened, I checked the labels. Every package had my name on it, my address. My hand started shaking so badly, I nearly dropped the flashlight. Then I looked at the shipping dates. 2028, 2029, 2030. Tell me honestly, would you open one? I did. Inside was a wristwatch. Mine. Same brand. Same cracked clasp, but the glass was deeply scratched, the leather worn thin, like it had been on my arm for years I hadn't lived yet. And when I looked down at the watch on my wrist, it had just stopped ticking. I ran back to the van so fast I left the box in the street. My hands slipped on the wheel. I slammed the gas and tore out of that town, tires screaming across wet pavement. 2 minutes later, the trees opened again. Same diner, same deadlights, same gas station. I shouted and kept driving. 3 minutes after that, I was back there again. Loop after loop, the town kept returning. But each time there were more vans parked along the road. Rows of them now. Dozens. Headlights off. doors open. Then I saw one idling near the curb. A driver sat behind the wheel wearing my company jacket. My jacket. Hands on the steering wheel, exactly like mine. Face hidden in shadow. The radio exploded with static. Then a voice whispered through it. My voice. Final delivery confirmed. At that exact second, my GPS screen flickered back to life. One route loaded automatically. One stop remaining. Home. I don't remember turning the wheel. I just remember flooring the van until the engine screamed. Trees blurred past. Then suddenly the forest was gone. I shot onto the normal highway just as dawn broke. 20 minutes later, I pulled into my driveway. There was a package sitting on my porch. Fresh label. Delivered at 4:03 a.m. I had never made that stop. I opened the box right there on the porch. Inside was my driver ID badge. Same cracked corner. Same photo. Same stain from coffee I spilled months earlier. The badge that had been clipped to my shirt all night. I looked down. My chest was empty. I quit that job before sunrise. Never went back, never answered their calls. Never asked questions I didn't want answered. But some nights when the house is quiet, my phone lights up on the table. No notification sound. Just my navigation app opening by itself. And one message on the screen. Shortcut available. If you saw a road that only appears at night, would you turn in? Comment what you do. Like for more night shift horror stories. And subscribe before your GPS finds you first. I work late shifts out in the Pacific Northwest. Mostly the kind of job where you stop counting the hours and start counting how many people around you are also pretending they're fine. By the time I get off, the train is basically the only thing standing between me and falling asleep, standing up in a grocery store aisle. I take it so often I know the exact squeak of the third step on the platform. The one light in the carriage that always flickers like it's debating retirement. And the exact point in the ride where everyone stops pretending they're not exhausted. Night trains are strange in a way nobody really talks about. They're just metal boxes full of tired people sitting too close together, all staring at nothing, all quietly agreeing not to make it weird. If you listen closely, you can almost hear the unspoken thought in every passenger's head. Just get me home. Just get me home. Just get me home. I used to think missing my usual train was bad luck until I boarded one that wasn't supposed to exist. It started on one of those nights where everything is just slightly off schedule. My shift ran a bit late, nothing dramatic, just enough to watch my usual train slide out of the station like it had somewhere better to be without me. I remember standing there thinking I'd just wait for the next one, like I always do. But the board changed something I'd never seen before. A replacement route. Different line, different platform. One I swear I'd never noticed in all my years commuting through the Pacific Northwest. I figured it was nothing. Probably construction, probably rerouting. So I took it. At first, the train felt completely normal. Dim lights overhead. Quiet passengers slumped into their seats. That steady rhythmic movement that makes your brain go soft in a good way. Nobody talked. Nobody really even looked at each other. Just another late night ride. Or so I thought. Then the announcement came. One voice. Flat. Calm. Final stop. That was it. No station name. No explanation. I pulled out my phone immediately, expecting to see it on the route map, but there was nothing. Not even a blank marker. Just empty track data, like the stop didn't exist at all. I actually laughed a little under my breath because I thought maybe I was just tired. I even checked my app like 5 times and just kept acting like I was crazy. The train didn't slow down like normal stops do. It just arrived, as if it had been waiting for that exact moment to appear. We pulled into a station that had no name, no sign above it, no announcement, just darkness outside the windows, thick enough that I couldn't tell where the platform ended and the empty space began. And then something I still can't explain happened. Everyone stood up at once. No hesitation, no confusion, no one asking if this was our stop. They just moved like it was routine, like they'd done it 1,000 times before. I stayed seated for a second too long, watching them file out in silence. That's when I realized nobody was speaking, not even a whisper, just footsteps and the soft hiss of doors opening. I don't know why I follow them. The second I stepped off, the air felt wrong. Too still, like the world had forgotten how to breathe. There were no station lights, no clocks, no sounds of traffic or wind. Just a platform fading into darkness that didn't behave like normal night. I checked my phone. No signal. Not even emergency service. My watch had stopped too. Exact same time, frozen like it had given up. Beyond the platform, a town appeared. Not far. Just there. Quiet. Perfectly still. Like it was waiting for permission to exist. The people inside, they moved. But wrong. Too smooth. Too polite. Like they were remembering how to be human instead of actually being it. And the strangest part? Some of them looked right at me like I'd already been there before. Like I was expected. I told myself I was just going to walk back to the station. That's all. Just retrace my steps, get back on the train, laugh about it later. Maybe even blame exhaustion. But when I turned around, the station wasn't there. No platform, no train, no tracks stretching into anything familiar. Just open ground, dark soil and gravel like the place had never been built at all. I walked faster, then faster again. I remember my breathing getting louder than anything else in the world because there was suddenly nothing to listen to except myself. That's when it hit me. Nobody around me was reacting. People in the town still moved the same way. Calm, measured, like my panic didn't even register. A man standing near what used to be a street corner glanced at me, almost kindly, like I was the one acting unusual. Then he said it, not loud, not threatening, just certain. You were always supposed to arrive on this run. I didn't wait after that. I ran through streets that shouldn't have connected the way they did. Every turn I made brought me back to the same places, same lamppost, same quiet storefront, same people watching without surprise. It didn't matter how far I went. I was never leaving. I was just circling something that already had me inside it. And slowly, I understood. The town wasn't a place you traveled to. It was where the train stopped you when it decided you weren't getting off anywhere else. I stopped running, not because I found an exit, but because everything just faded out at once. And then I was back on the train, sitting exactly where I started. Dim lights overhead, quiet passengers, that same steady motion like nothing had ever happened. For a moment, I honestly thought I had dreamed the whole thing, until I looked at my phone. The map had updated. There was a new stop listed. Final stop, active route. My thumb froze over the screen. Later that night, I checked everything I could, transit updates, local reports, even old route archives. Nothing official mentioned it. No records, no construction logs, nothing, except stories from other passengers. Always different names, different cities, same ending. Late night replacement trains, missed stops, a station that appears only when it decides. And that's when it really sank in. Because if this is something that only shows up when you take the wrong train at the wrong time, then maybe it doesn't matter where you're going. Maybe it matters when you got on. And if you're hearing this right now, you might already be on the route. So tell me, would you step off at a stop that doesn't exist on your map? Comment what you think that place really is, and subscribe. Because next time, it might not be me telling the story. I've slept in bad hotels before. The kind where the air conditioner sounds like it's coughing up its last breath. Where the carpet sticks to your shoes. Where the walls are so thin you learn your neighbor's whole argument by midnight. But this was the only hotel where the room wanted me to stay. My name's Ethan. I'm a sales rep, which is a fancy way of saying I spend more time on highways than in my own apartment. I drive from state to state, shaking hands, smiling at people I'll never see again, and sleeping wherever my company's budget can get me a key card. Cheap motels are usually one of two things: a blessing after 10 hours on the road or a crime scene with towels. There's rarely an in-between. After a few years of that life, strange sounds don't bother you anymore. Pipes knocking the walls, televisions turning on next door, footsteps overhead when no one rented the room above you. I'd heard all. Stained mattresses, flickering lamps, vending machines that hum louder than engines. None of it got under my skin. That's why, when I rolled into Arizona late one night and saw that lonely little hotel waiting off the highway. I didn't think twice. I thought it was just another stop. Just another bed. Just another forgettable place to close my eyes for a few hours. I was wrong. By the time I reached that stretch of Arizona, the road had gone empty for hours. No headlights behind me, no gas stations ahead. Just black desert on both sides and my tires humming over cracked pavement. Then I saw it. An old budget hotel glowing in the distance beneath a flickering neon sign. Half the letters were dead, so the place looked like it kept forgetting its own name. I parked, grabbed my bag, and stepped into a lobby that smelled like dust and lemon cleaner. Behind the desk stood a woman with a smile so wide it looked practiced. Before I said a word, she slid a paper across the counter and said, "Welcome back, Mr. Cole." I laughed, the kind of laugh you do when something feels off, but you don't want to admit it. Told her she had the wrong guy. She only nodded and handed me a brass key stamped 214. The room upstairs was spotless, too spotless. Old furniture, faded wallpaper, outdated TV, but not a speck of dust anywhere. And the air carried a scent I hadn't smelled in years. The exact aftershave I used when I was 16. I'd barely sat on the bed when someone knocked. Outside was a silver tray, cheeseburger, fries, black coffee. My comfort meal after long drives. I never ordered anything. Tell me honestly, would you eat food that appeared at your door like that? I ate it. Hunger can make bad decisions feel reasonable. I told myself the staff probably guessed what tired travelers order most, and I was too exhausted to argue with free food. The next morning, I splashed water on my face and looked in the mirror, then looked again. My hair was parted on the opposite side, neat like someone had combed it while I slept, and the small scar on my chin, the one I got falling off a bike at 12, was gone, skin smooth, like it had never happened. Downstairs, the receptionist smiled and said, "Morning, Mr. Parker." I corrected her, told her my name was Ethan. She didn't apologize. She just kept smiling, like I was the one forgetting something. I should have left then. Instead, I stayed one more night. Another knock came after dark. Another silver tray. This time it held my grandmother's beef barley soup, the exact recipe she used to make every winter before she passed. No restaurant served it like that. No stranger could know the taste. When I checked the mirror again, faint lines sat at the corners of my eyes. I looked older, tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. A bellhop passed me in the hallway and tipped his hat. "Good to see you again, sir." An elderly couple in the lobby waved at me warmly, like I belonged to them. Hands shaking, I opened my wallet. My license still said Ethan Cole, but the photo looked different. Same face, different life. At that point, would you leave or stay one more night to figure it out? I packed before sunrise. Didn't shower, didn't turn on the lights, just shoved everything into my bag and headed for the lobby with that cold feeling in my stomach that says run first, think later. I told myself I'd pay, get in the car, and never look back. The receptionist was waiting. Same posture, same smile. Beside her sat an old leather guest registry, already opened to the last page. I glanced down and froze. Hundreds of names filled the book across yellowed pages stretching back decades. Different ink, different handwriting, different years. But every signature felt familiar, like seeing versions of my own hand after years of change. Parker, Ellis, Daniel, Marcus. Name after name after name. I turned to the final page. Tonight's date was written at the top. Below it, in clean black ink, was my full name, Ethan Cole. I never signed it. My mouth went dry. I looked up. The receptionist's smile widened just enough to show teeth. You finally stopped leaving. Behind her, the lobby mirror caught movement. I turned. Dozens of me stood there. Older me, thinner me, hollow-eyed me, some trembling, some crying, all staring straight at me like they'd been waiting for years. I ran so hard I could barely breathe. Burst through the front doors into the parking lot. Except there was no hotel, no neon sign, no cars, just open desert and a cracked concrete foundation where the building should have been. My car was still there, In my pocket was the brass key to room 214. I still have it. Every few months, a room service menu appears in my apartment mailbox with no return address. Same logo, same paper, same smell. So hear me carefully. If you ever check into a motel and they say, "Welcome back, leave," what would you have done in my place? Comment below. Like and subscribe for more true night shift horrors. Next story. The gas station that only appears after midnight.